What's going on, everybody? Che here. I'm your host. This is the No Spoon Podcast. Get some things in order here. Let me get some people to come on. My boy broke it. Hey, what's up, man? 20K. Che, what's up, man? Yeah, we got to turn those into subscriptions, though. You already know. My boy, Broken Traditions, he's going to be on a little bit later at 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. So check his show out. Yeah, let me get some things in order. We got some things to talk about. You already know that beat. Yeah, I like this beat, man. Man, it's been a long day. It's been a long day, man. I was able to rush home, jump in the shower real quick, get everything set up. And usually we're on point this week, but this is how we're gonna try to do it, man. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific every Wednesday. Like I said, tentatively, if that changes, I'll let everybody know. But until then, you can pretty much ensure that we will be here live every Wednesday. My plan is to go live at least, give you one live show a week. That's the plan. And right now, Wednesday is the best day. I do it at this time because you guys can tap in with Broken Traditions. He comes on at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific on his channel. Go ahead and check him out if you haven't subscribed to him. He's in the chat. You can see his channel right there. He always talks about real, which is what I mean. I think that's what we try to do here anyway. As far as on all every platform that I deal with. I try to deal with, try to bring you the real stuff, Same thing, bro. Let's get to it, man. Fade this out a little bit, and then we can jump on it. What's going on, everybody? Just back up. My name is Che. This is No Spoon Podcast. Thank you guys for joining in where we talk about culture, politics, and common sense. We're here Wednesday, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. The plan is to be here every Wednesday, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. So don't forget, if you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so right now. And don't forget to like, share, and comment on this video. If it's something you disagree with, we want to hear that too. We want to hear all that. Also, the comments are open right now. If you want to talk about something, if you want to go ahead and just speak your mind on there, you're free to do so. I know this is YouTube, so you know how that goes. Thank you to people that are here, people that are watching this on the replay. We appreciate your support as well. But a lot of good things, a lot of things to talk about. This week marks the annual Davos meeting with the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab and his good friends that are all there. We're going to talk a little bit about something. I'm going to share the screen with my Twitter page, and we're going to go on some of the things that are being, some of the videos out of Davos. And then I'm going to talk and speak on, because I've got this and I've been reading it, and I'm about 100 and so pages in. But I thought it would be good to talk about, especially since they're all having this meeting. And the thing with this, World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab and Davos and all these different meetings that they have of the world's most elite and powerful, and anyway, everybody look at that and they say, well, it's a conspiracy. These are conspiracy theories that these people are meeting to discuss plans to control the world and control the world's population and yada, 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 all this different stuff, right? I even think, I think it was CBS, and I can't remember the other the other major mainstream media news outlet that said that in online circles that there's a the rumor o- is circulating that this is a grand conspiracy theory and this and this and that, right? But what's interesting is that, and I'm going to show you some things right now, is that I'm going to read out of the book. Like this is the actual document, COVID-19, the Great Reset by, and you see Klaus Schwab, right? And the Theory Malaret. I don't know how to say his last name, but yeah, I mean they wrote a book. I'm about 100 and so pages in. Um, it's crazy because everything that they say that is a conspiracy that we say is a conspiracy and that we are talking about as, as these, conspiracy theorists and nut jobs that they try to label us as, right? It's like, but it's in the book. Like they literally said the things that we're telling you. They literally said this, and they said that they were going to do this, and they were going to use this, and they were going to bring this about, and that this was going to happen, and that was going to happen. And then when we say it on Twitter or you, yeah, there we go. Okay, Mike came unplugged for a second, but anyways, I got to be careful with this because in any little move that you make, it's almost like it unplugs. Anyways, but yeah, everything that they say that um everything that we say on all these different platforms, and they label you a conspiracy theorist. It's like they said it. It's in the book, bro. They wrote a book. Like you can go to Amazon right now, type in COVID-19 the Great Reset, and you'll find this book. I think it was 1999. You know what I mean? And I bought it because I want to read it. I want to see what they got in store because they're literally telling you, like for real, like they're literally telling you what's going on. And so we're gonna read from some of it. I'm gonna pull up some of these videos that I'll show you off of Twitter, right? Let me just give me a second real quick. Yeah, let's go to, oh, this is an interesting one. This one's real interesting. This is I don't know why you can't hear it. You said it was 100% effective, then 90%, then 80%, then 70%. But we now know that the vaccines do not stop transmission. Why did you keep that secret? Have a nice day. I won't have a nice day until I know the answer. Why did you keep it a secret that your vaccine did not stop transmission? Is it time to apologize to the world, sir? To give refunds back to the countries that poured all their money into your vaccine that doesn't work, your ineffective vaccine? Are you not ashamed of what you've done in the last couple of years? Generally, apologies to the public, sir. Are you proud of it? You've made millions on the backs of people's entire livelihood. How does that feel to walk the streets as a millionaire on the backs of the regular person at home in Australia, in England, in Canada? What do you think about on your yacht, sir? What do you think about on your private jet? Are you worried about private liability? Are you worried about myocarditis? What about the sudden deaths? What do you have to say about young men dropping dead of heart attacks? I hope you guys were able to hear that. If there's an issue, let me know in the chat. But that was Albert Bourla. I believe I was saying that right. He's the CEO of Pfizer, and they were you know, they were getting at him about his yeah, they were getting at him about his well, it was audio but no video. Oh, okay. Well, that's not good. Yeah, that was out. That was out. I'll probably just let me try this again here. So let me know if you can hear if you can see the video. Yeah, it looks like we're having issues with the sharing sharing the screen, right? Hold on. Because I want to pull up some more stuff. Let's see this here. Now it's not pulling it up, anyways. Well, here's what we're gonna do. We see all the Davos stuff going on, right? Um. Anyways, let's just talk about this document here. This COVID-19. I'm gonna read some stuff from it, and we'll talk about it. Maybe it's surprising to some of you guys. And now that went out. There we go. But in the book they talk about, the return. There's a part on it called the return of big government, right? And how this whole crisis was going to lead to more government, more state intervention, and how there's going to be a kind of a fusion between the private sector and the public sector. And they literally lay that out. And for those of you that don't know, and I know that you hear this word a lot, there's a word called fascism. They talk about this a lot. They say this word a lot. And the problem is that it's always directed to, like, you see it at outside of a drag queen story hour when they're trying to have drag queen performances or drag shows with children and stuff like that. And then people are trying to shut it down. And they call the people that are trying to shut it down fascists. That's the key. That, oh, you're a fascist because you don't want kids to see pornographic materials. You don't want kids to be around drag queen. You don't want kids to be talking about sex and some of these issues that are kind of not really age appropriate. And they call those people fascists, and they say that you're trying to ban books. And they're not really banning books. What they're banning is they're trying to say that a 5-year-old shouldn't be looking at sexually explicit material. I'm going to talk about a little bit more about that in a little bit. But fascism, the real definition of fascism is that when you have a fusion of the private and the public sector, when the state and big corporations, the line between the two become blurred, right? When they start to work in lockstep with each other, when they start to defend each other, when they start to work with each other, and we're starting to see more and more of that. And it's not coming from the people that are against, children at drag shows. It's more or less coming from the people that are at the very top and are using their influence. If you really want to talk about fascism, that was everything that we found in what they called the Twitter files now. And Elon Musk released these documents where the federal government, including the White House, including the FBI, were contacting um Twitter in this case, and we also know that they have been contacting Facebook and other social media platforms that are supposed to be private companies, which is always the argument that you hear from these people. It's a private company that can do what they want. It's a private company that can do what they want, right? Well, all of a sudden, it's a little bit different when you're a private company, but you're working on behest of the public sector, which is the government. When the government starts to tell the private sector, this is what we need you to do, and you start doing their bidding. And so when you say that the government can't censor freedom of speech, so to speak, right? The government can't lock you up and censor you from saying something that's critical of them or something that they don't disagree with. They can't do that. But what happens when they work with the private sector to shut you up, to make it to where your voice is never heard, right? That is that is what fascism is when these two entities, the private sector, corporations, um, big tech, big pharma, you know, corporations such as Amazon, Walmart. I mean, we saw, media, mainstream media that are supposed to be privately owned, that they're supposed to be independent of the state, um, kind of the state influence and state what's the word I'm looking for? State funding, right? When this entity then becomes merged with the state. So the one thing that the state has um at its disposal, and the number one thing that it's like its trump card, it's what makes it so powerful, is the state has violence. It monopolizes violence through the use of the military, through the use of police force, through the law, right? Because the law is pretty much upheld by violence, right? I mean, if you committed a crime and you broke the law, and then you would then be issued a warrant, you'd be subject to arrest, but the police are not going to come and then ask you to please, put yourself in handcuffs and walk away. They're going to force you, and if you resist that, they will use whatever it means necessary to bring you in. Obviously, there's a lot of discrepancies about, what kind of force is necessary. We see a lot of cases like that where people get up in arms over the way that the police use force. But at the end of the day, the state has a monopoly on violence. I can't go to my neighbor if my neighbor does something wrong. If my neighbor steals something from me, I can't go over there and tell them to give it back. And if they say no, I can't then force my way into their house, take it back. And if they try to resist and they try to stop me from doing so, then use violence against them. I have to call the police, and then the police comes, and that's at the end of the day, that's the underlying X factor, so to speak, is violence. So the state has at its disposal violence and has a monopoly on violence, and that's what the corporations seek out as far as being able to utilize for themselves, because that's one thing that they can't do. They can't utilize violence, right? So what we're seeing now is a fusion of the two. I noticed this when this whole pandemic started, and you started to see that, like, um that's like OJ trying to steal it. Yeah, yeah, I mean, exactly. But OJ, and then OJ went to jail. That's the whole thing. Like, you can't do that, right? But you are allowed to call the police, and the police are allowed to come in and get your stuff back. And if those people resist the police and say, no, you can't come in here and get the stuff back, and the police say, well, we have a warrant that's signed by a judge, and then they say, well, we're still not letting them in, then the police are going to kick down your door. And if you resist that, the police will use violence. That's what I'm saying. They're the only ones that are sanctioned to use violence. So if you are the big corporations, you might have all the money. If you're the banks, you might have all the money and be able to issue the funding and everything like that, but you can't use violence. So that's why they make an alliance. That's why they join forces here. And that's when you've seen all these authoritarian regimes that have started out through history. There have been a fusion between the two. And we're starting to see that. And I mean, I'm not going to say starting. We've been seeing that for a long time. But I think the 2020 kind of solidified all that when you started to see that small business, which is small businesses, are a threat to the establishment and to the corporatocracy. And a corporatocracy is just that, corporations fusing um with state power, right? And small businesses become a big threat to that, because small businesses, for one, it gives us people who could be working for these corporations, it gives us the opportunity to be independent, to be self-sufficient, to then inspire other people to do the same. And that takes manpower away from the Walmarts, the Amazons, um all the big major corporations of the world that need people to man their product, to push their product, to distribute their product, to manufacture it and whatnot. So small businesses become a big problem, right? Um, and one thing you were able to see during 2020 is that every small business lost, except, or every business was losing except big business, right? And so I'm going to read this section to you, and how it talks about this is in this is on page 89. It says the COVID-19 pandemic has made government important again, not just powerful again. Look at those once mighty companies begging for help, but also vital again. It matters enormously whether your country has a good healthcare service, competent bureaucrats, and sound finances. Good government is the difference between living and dying. This is the document. This is what they're saying, right? When they're meeting in Davos, and what they're talking about in Davos, all the world's elite, they're literally telling you that government, the strength of a government, whether the government is strong or whether the government is weak, is the difference between living and dying. Big government is back. Trust me, these people want this. Trust me, these people in Davos, they want big government because they make alliances with them. These ultra wealthy, um I mean, they're capitalists, but they're taking this. Uh, Excuse me, real quick. Yeah, I know it froze for a second, but anyways, um, they're taking their wealth to another level, right? They are they want the state power. It's like, cat individual rights and individual freedoms has always been at odds with the state. And I always talk about this before, like the states, once the state came in the inception of the state, it it had the enemy of the state was always the individual, right? Because now you had this other entity that comes up, that now they've seen a way that in order to gain power, they can tell you, we can help you, we can provide for you, we can take care of you. They've already monopolized violence, and now with your right to self-defense, they want to be able to take that from you, right? That's what the police are for, right? Is that if you can't defend yourself, we defend for you. And then it slowly encroaches upon that to where you don't need to defend yourself. In matter of fact, it's against the law to defend yourself. And so they start taking more and more power and more power. And they start providing more and more jobs and more opportunities and more ways to where the state becomes your sole provider. We're always at odds, right? But once they reach a certain level, and there's a certain level that these people in, like, the World Economic Forum, and these people at the highest level of all of this, right? These people have an interest in forming coalitions with the state. So don't look at it and say, well, why would somebody like a Jeff Bezos, who is the CEO of Amazon? I think he stepped down, but anyways, he still owns the Washington Post. He's still a very rich and powerful man. Why would he want the state to encroach upon that? You know, we talk about socialism and communism is where the state, or socialism is where the state has control of all industry and they nationalize everything. Why would they want that? And I always say this because who do you think is going to be the people, the bureaucrats? Who do you think the people you think that they're going to kick them out like this? There's two different entities. It's not how it works, man. That's not how it works at all. Big government is back. Let me read this part to you. Today, the situation is fundamentally different. In the intervening decades in the Western world, the role of the state has shrunk considerably. This is a situation that is set to change because it is hard to imagine how an exogenous shock of such magnitude as the one inflicted by COVID-19 could be addressed with purely market based solutions. Already and almost overnight, the coronavirus succeeded in altering perceptions about the complex and delicate balance between the private and public realms in favor of the latter. It has revealed that social insurance is efficient and that offloading an even greater deal of responsibilities like health and education to individuals and the markets may not be in the best interest of society. In other words, give it to the state, give it back to the state. Let the state have power, let the state have control. This is the end goal, right? This is the end goal. I'm going to read this last part on this, and then I'm going to take it to something else that I think a lot of people miss out on, right? It says there will be more regulation covering many different issues such as worker safety or domestic sourcing for certain goods. Businesses will also be held to account on social and environmental fractures for which they will be expected to be part of the solution. That goes to the ESG stuff, right? Environmental social governance. These are credit scores that are given to big corporations. They're credit score, meaning how you maintain your environmental practices, how you maintain your social hiring practices. Do you have enough women on in your company? Do you have enough transgenders in your company? Do you have enough LGBT people in your company? Do you have enough people of color in your company? This All these things is basically the state being able to dictate to you what you can and can't do with your business, with your private company. So all this understanding of it's a private company, they can do what they want. You see that the state is encroaching upon that, right? So that's ESG stuff. As an add-on, governments will strongly encourage public-private partnerships so that private companies get more involved in the mitigation of global risks. Irrespective of the details, the role of the state will increase, and in doing so, will materially affect the way business is conducted. To varying degrees, business executives in all industries in all countries will have to adapt to greater government intervention. They're going to have to get on board with this, right? The government is there. They're involved. The state is there, and it's on a global scale. These things are being implemented on a global scale. It's globalism. We've talked about this plenty of times. It's a globalized movement, right? Now, the one thing I was saying, it comes to like the populist left and the people here in United States that are very supposed to be anti-establishment. It seems that my camera is really causing problems here. Um I'm going to say this, and I've been saying this because these people are not fooling anybody. There's a part in here where it says there's a part in here on social unrest. Youth activism is increasing worldwide, being revolutionized by social media that increases mobilization to an extent that would have been impossible before. It takes many different forms, ranging from non institutional political participation to demonstrations and protests, and address issues as diverse as climate change, economic reforms, gender equality, and LGBTQ rights. The young generation is firmly at the vanguard of social change. There is little doubt that it will be the catalyst for change and a source of critical momentum for the Great Reset. They are behind this, right? So when we see things like, and this is one of the things that I've always trying to point out, man, is like, you have like Black Lives Matter, you have the LGBTQ movement, you have gender equality, feminism, you have all these different marginalized people movement who are trying to fight back against the establishment, right? But look at what's happening and look at what they're describing. They're describing a bigger government. They are describing a stronger state apparatus. They're describing big corporations entwined with the state, entwined with government. They are they are the establishment, and that's what they're trying to do. They're also recognizing that there are these grassroots movements, and and I believe there's a lot of genuine people in these movements. I don't believe that every person that is involved with Black Lives Matter is like a Patrice Cullors, where they're just buying foreign houses and they're using them to heal and all these different things, right? I don't think that a lot of them are grifters. I think that there are a lot of genuine people in that movement. Same with the transgender movement, same with the gay rights movement. There's a lot of different things that I think a lot of people are actually genuine people. They really want to be recognized. They really feel like they have been on the outskirts of society and they want to be brought back in, or they want to be recognized, right? And they want to be given the respect that everybody else is given, right? I really believe that. You know what I mean? I'm not the type of person to sit here and say they're all bad at all. Like I don't believe that. But what they have to realize is that these people at the very top, these people that are meeting right now in Davos, right? They don't care about you. But they do care is that they can use you. And they will use you, and they are using you. They are using um they are using pieces of racism to mobilize you. They are using a transgender movement or the LGBTQ movement. They are using you, or feminism or women's rights, all these different things. They are using those things in order to bring about the great reset. They telling you that. They're telling you that. They're telling you that these things are going to happen, but we're going to use that to alter society for our benefit. Bigger government, bigger state apparatus, bigger corporatocracy. Corporations and the state merged into one. We will have ultimate control. If you look at everything that they try to do, right? Everything that they're doing, it's it's only to strengthen the state and the corporations. They're telling you that we are going to fight for you. We are going to stand up for you. We are going to give you your rights back. We are going to give you respect and dignity. We are going to give you all this. And so what we do, and I say we, and I only say we because we're all down here together, right? I don't care what you are. I don't care if you're, you're gay or straight. I don't care if you're transgender, you're a male, you're female, you're a feminist, whatever you are, conservative, liberal, whatever, right? We're not at Davos right now. So we're on the outside. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. It doesn't matter if you voted for Biden or you voted for Trump. It doesn't matter what if you follow Ron DeSantis, if you're pro-vax or anti-vax, none of that matters. What matters is that you're not at Davos right now. And so they want to keep us at each other's throats down here with these little issues and creating these little divides amongst us, right? Um, Last week I was on the show, on Broken Tradition show, and we talked about the Keenan Anderson, who is the cousin of Patrisse Cullors, of one of the founders of Black Lives Matter, and he was, he passed away in police custody after being pulled over, and we all know that story. This yada yada yada, right? But we were talking about how it's a gray area, right? How these incidents, it's never like clear cut. Like it's never a situation where you're watching a cop drive down the street, jump out on somebody that's walking their dog or coming out of Bible study and just gun them down. Because if they showed you that, and I'm not saying that doesn't happen or there isn't, I think that there are cases, not specifically like that, but I think there are cases that are kind of like cut and dry where that's wrong, but you don't see that, right? And you don't see that because that would be easy. Everybody would coalesce on one side of the issue and say they were wrong for that, right? Or they don't show you the lunatic that's going crazy and he comes out and he just starts shooting at the police and the police gun him down. And then everybody would say, well, he was wrong for that. They might show a clip of these things and then it goes away. But these gray area ones where the guy did he get in a car accident? Is he help calling for police? On one side of the narrative is he got into a car accident. He flagged the cops down for help. They made him get against the wall. Next thing you know, he's getting tasered. Next thing you know, he's taken into custody. Next thing you know, 4.5 later, he has a cardiac arrest and he's dead. What the other side of the argument is, no, he caused the car accident. He tried to carjack somebody. Police showed up. He tried to run away and resist. There was a struggle. He got tased. As a result of him resisting, he had a cardiac arrest. He died in custody. Like that's the there's two narratives that could be that are being shown here. Which one is it? I don't know. It depends, and you don't know, but really it depends on your political stance. What side of the aisle are you on is gonna determine how you view it. So what happens is that us as a population, what we do is, well, I'm a Republican, therefore he was resisting and he's wrong, or I'm a Democrat, therefore he was innocent and he had nothing to. He was just a regular guy and he got killed. Police bad, right? Like that's that's the point. That's the point. These people meeting at Davos win. Us down here that live in the regular, you know, I don't know why my whole thing just froze. Us down here, we're fighting each other. I'm mad at you because you saw it that way. You're mad at me because I seen it this way. They win. They're using you. All these different issues, right? You're being played. The media is complicit in it because they're the ones who determine which cases they get to show you and which cases you don't get to see. So you're being played. They had 5,000 armed security up there in Davos. 3,000 hookers were flown in. They're living it up, man. They're talking about how we got to cut down carbon emissions while everybody flew a private jet in there. We got to get rid of natural gas. We got to get rid of fossil fuels. You have to get rid of all that. Remember that. That's for you. You have to lock down. You can't go to church. You can't go see your grandma. You don't like him because he saw that one incident that we chose to show you. that we chose to run past your on your timeline every single day. Over and over and over, and then we have pundits come up and argue it. No, 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 it's this way. I always said it, man, like, the whole defund the police movement, remember that? They don't really talk about that much because it's kind of backfired, but that was never about police brutality. It was about distribution of wealth. I'll explain that. I've spoken on this before, but I'll explain it again, right? This whole thing behind this whole great reset, right? They want us in order for them to keep the wealth that they have and enjoying the luxuries that they have to convince us to share ours with each other, right? They have to convince us that equity and equal distribution of wealth and so on are some great ideas. And if you don't accept these ideas, you're a bigot, you're a racist, you're a homophobe, transphobe, enter whatever name you want to throw in there, right? They keep everything. They keep all theirs. You got nothing. And whatever you do have, you better share it with the person next to you or your Christopher Columbus, right? Um, but that whole program was about distribution of wealth. If I want to distribute wealth, that means tax dollars. Okay. Let's look at every major metropolitan city in the United States. What's the biggest budget? Where does the dollars go the most to? In every major metropolitan state. Sometimes almost half of the city budget goes where? Police department. If I want to redistribute that, because I want you guys sharing yours with each other, and that means the wealth that you make, you give it to us, government. We we redistribute it for you. We determine where it goes. So I'm put a little over here, a little over here, a little over there, right? So I always say it's like pimps and hoes, right? Like she comes back, gives her money to the pimp, and then he decides, okay, here's a little bit for your hair, here's a little bit for your nails, here's a little bit for, you go to Denny's or something like that, get you something to eat. Um, you want a little spa day? Here, boom, boom, boom. The rest is mine. Put that in my pocket. This is the game that's being played. Um, so they have to make it out like you have to go after the police. We want to defund the police. You just really don't want, and I'm not saying the police should get half a city budget or whatnot. Obviously, I don't think so. Um, but that was the whole point. It had nothing to do with police brutality. The media is complicit in this. The media, celebrities, entertainers, they go along with it. Excuse me. They go along for the ride. It's all a game, man. You're getting played. You're not in Davos. I'm not in Davos. I don't care whether you're on the left or the right. I think the ultimate agenda should be the power to the people, and that means people being able to decide what they do with their wealth and the things that they've earned. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. Yeah, the go along, get along gang. I really want to I don't know what's going on here, but I want to show you something. So I'm going to try my best to get this up in this video up here.
My name is Rebecca Phillips, and I'm 17 years old.
I am not a resident of Santee. Let me see if I can share the screen now. Let me know if you can see this. Good evening, council members and residents of Santee behind me. My name is Rebecca Phillips, and I'm 17 years old. I am not a resident of Santee, but I am employed at a local restaurant, the Omelet Factory, and I work out regularly at the Santee YMCA. Just 2 weeks ago, after finishing my shift at my job, I went to the gym to swing laps. As I was showering after my workout, I saw a naked male in the women's locker room. I immediately went back into the shower, terrified, and hid behind their flimsy excuse for a curtain until he was gone. I ran into a bathroom stall to change as quickly as I could, organizing my thoughts to share with the people at the front desk. As I did so, I could only think of my 5-year-old sister, who I bring to this gym during the summer to enjoy their water slides. This is the YMCA, where hundreds of children spend their summer afternoons in child care camps. This is the YMCA where my little sister took gymnastics lessons. The locker room was supposed to be her safe haven to gossip with her friends and shower and change. When I asked the YMCA management what the policy was regarding transgenders, they confirmed that the man that I saw was indeed allowed to shower wherever he pleased. As long as you are not a red flag on Megan's Law, the California Sex Offender Registry, a grown male can shower alongside a teenage girl at your YMCA location here in Santee. I was made to feel as though I had done something wrong when I talked to people at the YMCA. Somehow, the indecent exposure of a male to a female minor was an inconvenience to them. When my dad spoke to the sheriff's office, they told him that he should never allow me to shower there ever again. The YMCA wouldn't let my father speak to the manager of the Santee branch. After waiting several days, he finally received a call from Terry Moss, who is the director of membership for San Diego County. She informed my dad that I was not in any danger at the time of the incident, that I was safe. But I ask you this, I'm assuming all of you either have a wife, a sister, daughters, or granddaughters, or are a woman yourself. Could you knowingly send an underage girl into a room where there was a naked male and say that she was not in danger, that she was safe, or more importantly, that this was right? The fact that we are now tailoring our privacy policies and bathroom laws around transgenders, ignoring the blatant threat to safety that this poses, is obscene. The safety of children, girls, is on the chopping block. And this issue is not unique to one political party. Both Democrats and Republicans whom I have shared this story with have all been equally disgusted. So I implore you all to take action. With great privilege comes great responsibility. Whether it's requiring transgenders to use the single-stall family restrooms or making them use the bathroom which aligns with their biological trans.
Thank you. Thank you.
Here's the thing, man. Do you see the tweet that was with it? I don't know who this person is, Matt. He said, so the trans woman she's referring to didn't even ... do anything? Question mark. She, and I'm assuming that he's referring to the trans individual, was just minding her business and changing her clothes. This was in, I believe, Santee County, which is near San Diego, I believe it is. I'm not sure. I think it is out here in California. I think personally, man, like, we have to just stop arguing with these people, right? There's no like we can't have these arguments anymore on is this right or is this wrong? Like, you seen the tweet with the guy where he said she the trans person was just minding their business. This is a biological male in a locker room where women and underage girls are potentially present, and it's the women's locker room. I mean, it's the YMCA. There are little girls in there, and you have people who are saying, "Oh, they didn't do anything wrong. They were just there." W- I think like as men, we have to kind of just take a stance and just say that no, I'm not going back and forth with you. I'm not going to talk about this or debate this with you. We have segregated these spaces, these private spaces, right? Where you use the restroom, where you take a shower, where you get naked. We've segregated these for a reason. I think there's plenty of reasons. I think the understanding of these reasons are innate. We know this to be true. We know that as a woman and a girl, um does not want to be around a man that doesn't have any clothes on. And the same thing as a man, like I don't want to be around other women and young girls without any clothes on. Like this is just so crazy that we're actually sitting here and we're discussing this. And the reason we're discussing it is because people have overlooked what we know to be right. Like they've just completely disregarded it. You've seen the tweet. They didn't do anything. What's the problem? I don't understand. He wasn't doing anything. Walking around butt naked, women, little girls around there. He didn't do anything. You need to stop having these conversations, man. Like I'm not going to argue with this. You know what I mean? These things were determined not because male patriarchy just decided that I want to control women. These were done to make places safe for both sides, right? Even as a man, I'll tell you this, like look, as a man, let me speak to men here, right? We're constantly you have to fight against your lower nature. And this is what I believe like our purpose here as human beings, and I'm not going to get into a whole spirituality thing, but I just believe as a human being, as a man, we have a constant internal battle to overcome our lower nature, right? Our animal nature. I believe that human beings are half animal, half spirit. That's my belief, right? I'm not trying to force that on nobody like that. But my internal battle in life is to overcome that lower nature. The nature that when I get angry, I want to lash out and hurt you, right? The nature um that wants to lust after uh women, that it has sexual desires. I need to come and bring those I need to control those things. So even as a man, I don't want to be around women with no clothes on, naked, like I'm trying to overcome those things. That's I feel that is our internal struggle. That is our what we're here to do is overcome those things, right? And that people that live according to their lower nature are easier to control and manipulate, and that's what this whole thing is designed to do. So I don't want to be around butt naked women in the locker room because that's going to distract me from my purpose in doing the things that I'm supposed to do in my life and overcoming and achieving a higher level of enlightenment and spiritual enlightenment, whatever you want to look at it, right? But that's my end game here. So from that perspective, I think that this is valid as well, right? Like, it's not just about little girls and women being around naked men, like, it goes both ways, and I see it that way, right? But there are people that wanna disregard these things, and they act like these things are just some type of male dominance, and that we have decided that the patriarchy has decided that they wanted to control everybody's bodies and all this crazy stuff, man. We gotta just start saying no. Not going for it no more, man. This Saturday, I have the privilege. I'm going to be interviewing uh, a young lady by the name of Amy Ichikawa. She is a formerly incarcerated woman out here in California, and now she is works with women getting out of prison, women that are in prison. Um, similar to things that I've done and I do, working with men, being formerly incarcerated myself. And one of the things that she's working on is the fact that they are integrating women's prison here in California with biological males. And they're not asking for any type of proof. You literally just have to go to the administration and say, I'm a woman. And they put you with women. So she's fighting on their behalf to get to stop this. Look at, man, there's reasons why we do this. There's reasons why we segregate in those cases. I think we're being disingenuous, and I think we're falling into a greater scheme of money and power and wealth distribution. Um, I think the whole Davos thing goes right along with it. These people are going to use these type of situations to create conflict, and there's no greater way to create conflict than to just throw out a situation that we know is wrong, and then letting people fight over it. This is simple, man. Listen, listen. You're going to be called a bigot, a transphobe, you're gonna be called these different names, but who cares? At this point, who cares? I don't care, right? People will say a lot of different things. They will make a lot of accusations and a lot of different claims simply because you're speaking up on the truth. Who cares, right? Who cares? I'm not going to say that up is down just to appease you. And if you want to call me names because I won't agree with something that's wrong, I I don't respect your opinion enough to care. It's that simple. If you think it's okay for men to be naked and show their private parts to children, I don't respect your opinion. So all the names that you call me, I don't care. Like, for real, man. I mean, that's the type of mentality, that's the type of attitude that we have to have with this. I don't care. Oh, I'm that? Coming from who? The guy that wants to expose himself to children? Yeah, I don't I'm not going to take your opinion seriously. Sorry. I don't care. Stop caring. You know what's right and you know what's wrong. Stand on that. If some weirdo comes around and says that, "Oh, that's not right." I don't care, man. Come on, man. Seriously? He didn't do anything. Come on, man. I'm not gonna do that interview live. I'm gonna record it and I'll probably put it out. I'm gonna do it Saturday, so probably Saturday night or Sunday. It's gonna be up this weekend, but look for that. She just did an interview with um American Cholo, so you go to his channel, the American Cholo on YouTube, and check out that interview. But There's a lot of people, man. They're we I just believe that most people know what's right and what's wrong. And most people, um, they're not with all this. But for whatever reason, nobody wants to say it because it's controversial and it makes and these people call you names. But like I said, I mean, do you think I care what somebody who believes that it's okay for male to expose his private parts to a child thinks about me? If you care, that's on you. I mean, I'm not gonna. Hey, whatever. That's on you. But me personally, I don't. I do not care what somebody who has those type of morals or lack thereof think about me, and um, I'm not gonna ever care about that. Man, that's it, man. I know it's just like seems like there's been some technical things. We're gonna clean all this up, but I'll be here every Wednesday, man. And if you like what I'm talking about, subscribe to this channel. I'll put some more videos out. Follow me on the different platforms that you see down there at the bottom. The Instagram page that I've been going off now is Che_uncensored. On Twitter, No Spoon Podcast. If you want to email me and just hit me about anything, there you see it at the bottom at Red Pill Che at the No Spoon Podcast. Also, if you want to donate to this to keep it going, maybe upgrade on some of this equipment, as you can see, the Cash App is down there at the bottom, $ the No Spoon Podcast. I'd appreciate it. All that is going to go towards bringing you the most content and speaking up, man. And, you know, look out, man. I mean, not everybody is willing to say, and I get it, and not everybody is going to be the type of person that's going to speak on everything. I get it, but I think we have to support those that do. My boy Broken Traditions, he's in the comment section. His show is coming on in about 30 minutes. Tap in with him, subscribe to his channel, and you know, like I said, support people that are speaking out. And even if this isn't your lane, because everybody got their lane, right? Uh, but just support, man. Whatever it is that you're doing, if you're not the speaking out type of person, but you got something else that you got going on the side, man, I'm more than happy to support that. And I think that we should. I think we all should do the same. But like I said, subscribe to the channel, share it with people, um, like it, comment on it. Man, can't wait to see you back here next Wednesday at the same time, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Until then, check out all the other stuff that I got going on. My name is Che. This is No Spoon Podcast.